Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to redo that intro again. So welcome to the first part of a brand new series for this YouTube channel. This series is to do with the PGA 2K21, and it's to do with a new series idea that I'm thinking of, and that's to go through TGC design, TGC tours, design contests as they come around. Now, I do realise that quite a few YouTube channels are doing this at the moment, but the difference being with this YouTube channel is that I'm going to have my own take on these courses. I'm also doing it off a completely different, well, not completely different way, but I'm doing it in a different way. I am using a gaming laptop to do this. Now, normally when I've seen people do this, they've used desktop PCs. We are using for this series the reasonably new, brand new to me because I only got it a week or so ago, the ROGZGA Gamers Zephyrus GA503 from Asus with 32GB of RAM and a 3080 mobile graphics card. As I say, this was initially released in 2021, but we got it this version was released in 2021, but it has since been upgraded with Windows 11, the Professional Edition, and has had Adobe Premiere Pro and everything else put on it. But other than that, it's a stock machine, so it's actually the machine at the top of the series of ROGZGA Gamers laptops with 32GB of RAM and an 8GB 3080 graphics card, as I said. So this is a mobile 3080. This is the first time that the mobile Asus ROG laptop has been featured on a series, and won't be the last either, because as it turns out, this is quite a capable workhorse, at least for 1080 gaming, if not 4K, which was my initial intention when I eventually got this, but I quickly found that 4K wasn't going to do the job, or wasn't going to do the job that I was looking for. So we've had to settle for 1080. This comes on the spec side, because I haven't filled it in on YouTube yet. I will let viewers know now what this comes with. It comes with a Ryzen 9 5900HS, clocked at 3.3 GHz, but goes to 4.6 on turbo. As I say, it also comes with 32GB of RAM, which is the maximum memory configuration stock. It does allow for up to 48GB of RAM, but 32 for what we need is more than enough. So that's what this comes with. Other than that, it's a stock 3080 mobile laptop, so all the bells and whistles of the 3080 card are with this machine, and just on an average, just to give you some figures, games like PGA 2K21 here use about half the available VRAM. That's at 1080 60 FPS and recording at the same, and I assume recording at the same time. I haven't checked it since, but I can hit the guide and we can find out how much it's using. Apparently at the moment we are using 100% of the GPU utilization wise, but only 47% of the VRAM. So that's pretty good. And we're also using 36% of the 32 gigabytes of RAM whilst we're running this as well. But bear in mind that's also with action recording and playing the game at the same time. So that's pretty good, I would say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really looking forward to this. This is, as I say, this is the first time that a series like this has been attempted off a mobile machine. I did have a PC specialist, Proteus 6, that had a 2070, but I didn't really push it as hard as I'm doing now, because that card wasn't capable of, was another reason why I didn't use that card, because I found again that it wasn't capable of 4K. But if I'd have known that this wasn't capable of 4K, I'd have stuck with that previous machine anyway. So it's a bonus to us that we've had, and that we have this now, and we have the extra power at 1080, which means we can easily do stuff like this. Now, just as a guide for what I'm intending to do on this series, I'm intending to review all of these courses in the order I obtained them. I do have the info on all 30 of them, or that were entered into the competition, in 13 so-called screenshots. What I've done is took a screen snip and then seen what the course names are and done whatever. So before starting this series, so I do know what every course is, so we won't have trouble finding them or knowing what things are supposed to be. So just point that out, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be starting with the captain's entry from last year's event. This is Dan Griffith's I think it's Griffith's entry into the competition. This is Hawthorne Ridge. This was designed, as I say, for the Dream Team competition in 2021. And we're going to be we're going to be doing all of these in stroke play format, of course. And we're going to be going from the back tees with every single one of them. And also the back pin as well. So, in this case, it'll be pin set 4. And we'll go from there. Just as a guide to the conditions that we're going to be working, we are going to be going with low wind. We are going to be going from mostly from an east or west direction, not northeast, not northwest. We'll be choosing one of the longitudinal directions, which is either east or west, and we'll be going from there. So and we'll be firming up every single course, so we'll be going very firm, very fast. We'll also be going afternoon, and every single condition is going to be wet, because I now know for a fact that wet conditions don't seem to affect how the game plays. So they should do, but they do not for some reason, so we're going to use them all the time throughout this series, and therefore it's all about how I play it as opposed to how the course plays and everything like that. So here we go with round 1 around Hawthorne Ridge by Pity Dr. G, as he's known on Steam. Here we go.
Hello there, golf fan. My name's John.
I'm just going to turn off the commentary for because I'm making my own. So let's turn off.
First one. Let's send it.
Thank you, John. Don't need to listen to you. Right. Not when I'm making my own. Right, so here we go then. Hole 1 is a par 4 measuring 478 yards. We've got a 1 mile an hour wind from the east side, as you can see. And here we go. First shot, how are we going to go this afternoon? Not too bad, just pulled it a fraction. Hopefully it's not too heavy in there. It is. So we're going to be up against it. We've got 165 yards to pin. Into not much wind, so there's going to be no problem getting there. Despite the heavy rough conditions. And this looks pretty good for starters. He's unlucky there. Could have easily stayed on top. He's got this for a birdie on hole 1. Can he get off to a good start here? Not quite. Look at how close that was, ladies and gentlemen. Not the best of luck there. Hole 2 looks like it's going to be a par 3. That measures 164 yards into a 2 mile an hour tailwind. So I'm just going to take off a little bit here. Just overhit it slightly, but should be okay. I did take a couple of yards off of that. It's not too bad. It's ended up in pretty good position. Good looking green here. Nice challenges on it. Like it's not straightforward, and it does make you read the greens correctly. That was a good putt though, so he managed to take advantage of it. Hole 3 is a par 5, measuring 538 yards into a slight tailwind, so we might be able to go for this in 2, depending on how far we get. The tee. Pulled it slightly, so he won't be happy with that attempt. So 335 yards. So 201 yards to go. I'm just going to be going down because I expect the wind and the fact I'm going to overhit it to help me get down to this green. Pretty good shot. Now, did I go down far enough? Doesn't look like I did. Could have lofted a bit more, but as it turns out, it's not too bad, and he'll have that for an eagle. So, will he get the result he's after? Not really. If he keeps aiming like that, he won't. Pretty good effort though. Should be a birdie. I'm not saying it is going to be, but it should be. And it is. So a nice, solid play at the moment. And here we go to hole number 4, which is a par 4, measuring 405 yards. Good strike. Solid striking. 343 yards, leaving himself just a short wedge in from 60 yards, which I'm going to put a little bit of backspin on No loft though, I'm going to leave the loft as it is. Just a little bit of backspin. Just overhead it very slightly. But it stopped pretty nicely, and he's only got a couple of feet for his birdie. No problem, another one in the bank. Hole 5 is a par 3 measuring 154 yards. So I'm just going to be hitting this pretty bone stock, because in case I overhit it, which I did there, it should carry on down nicely towards the flag. Not quite as intended, but sensible enough. Very good. Good read there. Takes him to 4 under after 5. The 6th hole is a par 4 measuring 413 into a slight tailwind. Very slight, that is. I'm just going to turn... Whoops, wrong way. I'm just going to turn this over a little bit so it stays on the fairway. Looks pretty good. Played that pretty bone stock. Should have had a look at it actually, but it hasn't turned out too bad. So this attempt from... Oh dear. That's pretty good. I reckon that's pretty good. And it was. Good read again. So, hole 7 is a par 4 measuring 330 yards. Is this drivable? It certainly is. Am I tempted to go for it? Yes, I am. Just overhead it a fraction, I think. Well, more than a fraction, but he is on the green, but he's got a long way to go for his eagle. So 52 feet for an eagle. And I'm certainly having a look at it to make sure I can get there. Going to turn enough? Is that going to turn enough? It did, but it didn't quite have enough. It turned quite a long way actually. I thought halfway through I was actually going to make that, but you can see it 6 birdies in a row, so he really has started like he means to carry on as we come to the 8th hole. 228 it's playing. I'm not going to adjust anything. If anything, I'm just going to put a bit of loft on it and maybe a bit of backspin. Oops. No, I want a bit less on it. Yeah, I want full backspin. So that's just gonna carry on. If you don't put full backspin on that, that's just gonna carry on. That's how you want it. So just put a bit backspin on. Hopefully we'll get a good solid contact. Didn't quite, just overhead it a fraction, but it should be okay. because of the way I played it. Oh, and he's played it to perfection. At a controllable distance, this looks straight. But it's a good job I did actually look at that, because there's a tiny little bit of break that I didn't notice. But nicely done there. And we head to the 9th hole, which is the last one before the turn, that is a par 4 and measures 428 yards. So a nice solid tee shot there, leaving us just a short wedge in. So I don't think the pitch shot will be attempted. I think a nice solid sand wedge will be attempted. It's a good solid one, right in the ideal power line. Unfortunately, it didn't bounce as far forward as I was anticipating, but should be a nice attempt here. It's not far away at all. Just needs a bit more weight on it. That was a pretty good effort, just pulled it too far across. It was fine for weight, just not quite for line. Hole 10, it's a par 4 measuring 441 yards into a slight tailwind, very slight. It's not even registering on the speed counter. But it's a very slight tailwind and nicely struck. 83 yards. I'm just going to play that as is. I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe a fraction of backspin, if anything. Otherwise, it's as is. Played it well. Played it very well. Good shot. If anything, a bit more backspin might have stopped it from rolling forward, but it was good enough, and it's a nice easy birdie to start the back 9 as well. Hole 11 is a par 5 measuring 595 yards into a tailwind that, had it been stronger, we would have been able to get there in 2, but as it's as weak as it is, we won't be able to unless we get a good bounce going forward. We certainly have hit it almost as hard as we could have done, as that just about holds the fairway at 370 yards. You can still get there despite, because it's so far downhill to the green, despite the lack of wind. So expect if I hit this well, I should be getting close to it. That's why I've gone down to 5 iron, because I expect it to run on quite the considerable margin. And it certainly did, and he's on the green too for an eagle. Or with an attempt for an eagle, sorry. Played it well. And he just about missed that, otherwise it was in. So he just pulled it an extra inch across. And is it going to turn? No, it stays on the edge, but we'll take that. We'll certainly take that. Anytime you can get within an inch for an eagle, it's a certain birdie, and you'll take it. Right, hole 12 is a par 4 measuring 434 yards. I like the fact this is uphill severely, so you ain't getting too much distance, even if you do hit it well. It's a good strike. Still a short wedge for me because of the clubs I'm using, but and normally I'd expect that to be a full wedge on most occasions. Good strike though. How good was that? Almost made it. And he'll settle for that. So after 12 holes we reach double figures. As I say, it's not about the score. The score can be... The score is secondary. Showing the courses off is the most important thing. Now, I bear in mind also that I do have the PC ability to fly cameras around, but I will not be using that in this playthrough, since it is very difficult to get a proper swing of the camera, and plus other YouTube channels quite regularly do those. So we won't be doing those, but what we will be doing is playing around on the course and showcasing it. So here we go with hole 13. Is a par 4 measuring 513 yards into a slight tailwind, so we might get a fraction more distance. Yeah, got a fraction more distance there, leaving us 168 to the pin. I'm just going to be coming down to a 9-iron, because I don't want the ball to be running too far on these fast greens. Good strike. Very good strike, in fact. Just misjudged his spin, but other than that, it was pretty good. Yeah, that's much better. Back to the... He's actually, I think... Oh, he's back to 4 birdies in a row. He had a streak of 6 earlier in the round. He's now back to 4. So... Excuse me. Hole 14 is a par 3 measuring 147 yards. I'm going to be taking the same club, and I'm going to be going down a couple of yards just to make sure I don't fly the green or fly the flag. Obviously I've got an intention of landing close to the flag here, so mind you, I misjudged that completely. That was not a good shot, probably the worst shot of the round. That's not good at all. Much better that time. Much better. Yeah, much better result there. So, hole 15 is a par 5 measuring 595 yards. The second of the par 5s to measure that distance. And the first one also, the first par 5 also measured that distance as well. 355 yards off the tee gives us a chance of definitely reaching this in 2, I would imagine, because of the what seems obvious downhill slope, particularly if I overhit it. Might need to overhit it to make sure I get it there, which is what I've done. And this looks very good to me. Yeah, solid stuff. Nothing wrong with that shot at all. And gets his reward there. That shot. But now the 16th hole is a par 4 measuring 365 yards. Now I'm not going to be pushing this too far because it's uphill and there's a double fairway. So a nice comfortable wood shot into the fairway gives us a good second shot when going straight at this green. So just a bit of backspin. Good strike. Solid strike. You see it was well within the white line. This is why I primarily don't play with swing timing because of swing planes. So it's all about for me get the straight swing plane. So that was a nice birdie there. Hole 17 is a par 3 measuring 260 yards to the pin. I'm just going to be going stock as is just in case I overhit it. Oops. Actually, what I want to do, I forgot to do this earlier in the round, ladies and gentlemen, but I will do this now. I actually want it so it doesn't control the distance. There you go. That's what you want. You want to be able to hit it full. So, that's it. Right. That'll be a bit better. Underhit it, which should be okay. Slight miscalculation there. Much better on that occasion. And this will be to stay where he is at 14 under. Nice putt there. So the last hole is a par 4 measuring 447 yards. Again, looks like a nice course. It's the first one of Dan's that I've actually played on recording session. So I'll be looking forward to trying out any more that he does feature throughout the number of contests that are shown. Just to be aware that I am not doing this on behalf of TGC Tours. I am no longer a TGC Tours member. I am doing this my own back, just to be aware, ladies and gentlemen. So a nice solid shot going in. to the last hole, and a good one it was too. Well controlled. Now, does he get a reward? Not quite, but he does leave it uphill for a can he finish with a closing birdie? Looks like he can, so looks like he's going to finish at 15 under par, which I know is a bit excessive, ladies and gentlemen, but the point of playing these courses is not my score, but what the course is like. That course was a joy to play in for most holes. A couple of the par 5s were a little bit easier than maybe they should have been, but I think that was practically because of the clubs I was using. But we saw a couple of eagles on that round that were pretty easy to get. But other than that, the course was enjoyable, and certainly one that to kick this series off well with. But that's going to bring this first video to an end. Just as a guide on what we're expecting to do this series, we're expecting to do one course per video, so this series should end up with 13 videos in it by the time the series is completed. I shall be doing this for this competition and all other TDC Tour's future competitions. Although I will, as I said before, I will not be doing it on their behalf, but you can expect me to play most of the competition courses that end up coming out, because I will be checking the forum, which I still have access to see when courses are delivered. But that's going to bring this video to an end, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, thank you for your support and thanks for watching.